Hey guys, welcome back. Robocraft Early Access coverage. This is episode 34. I'm Anemius, and today it's the revenge of the Minimap. What timing. So you just kind of pop in there. Yeah, we're talking about the Minimap this episode. Now, I don't plan on doing this with the enlarged Minimap in every match footage episode from now on. Just occasionally when we really want to talk a little bit more in depth about the strategy. But just as a basic primer on the useful things the Minimap can do, I decided that we would take a look at it in an enlarged form so that it's easier to kind of make sense of what's going on in video format. So you can see here, moving up the middle, a few of us. A bunch of them, I don't know why they're still at the base circle, but they are. A couple guys behind me coming up on the enemy who's no faster getting away from their base circle than some of our guys. So this is not necessarily a horrible place to be, but I just generally don't like going up the middle on this map because it favors the aerial combatants. Bombers do very, very well on this map because there's so many crevasses and so many places where if they kind of hug the terrain, they can do a lot of damage and then be gone before you really have a chance to retaliate, unless you've got like a gun bed or something like that, which obviously I don't. But in this case, you can see we got a lot of guys over in that lane over there. They don't have to worry about what's going on to the northeast of their position because there's nothing up there. No one can really do anything up there unless we had a group moving along that flank as well, but we don't. All of our guys are in the middle. And one of the trend that you'll see is that the red dots will appear and then disappear, and then they'll come back. We re-spot them and they come back. The blue dots will disappear and they don't come back because they're dead. That's basically the match. But you can look right in the middle of the map and then kind of expand outwards, expand your gaze outwards, and you see how spread out we are. It's bad. When the enemy is all consolidated in one location, what will often happen is without any kind of prompting, they will tend to focus fire more, they will tend to attack the same targets more, and really what it comes down to, if you're talking like the really uber competitive thing, if you had like 10 versus 10 coordinating on voice chat each team, they would be calling targets to focus fire, and if you were wanting to remain a part of that group, you would be focusing your fire on that target, or you would be in serious trouble, because that's the effective way of destroying the enemy as fast as possible. Is you get 10 guns on one bot, he's not going to last very long. In this case, yeah, the blue dots disappeared and they still haven't come back yet. And so I'm thinking to myself, I've got a fast bot, I'm still in good shape, I haven't really contributed, well, anything. I just don't feel like I have. And it's too early to give up yet, so I'm going to try and get a little bit more CPU damage next to my name if I can. These guys, I kind of expected that they would just take from where they were and push up the flank along the east road and then across the north, but they went up the middle, which makes sense, I guess, because that's where they were starting to push through when the rest of our team evaporated. It's basically all over but the crying at this point. Like, mathematically, we have almost no chance whatsoever of winning. Realistically speaking, this is the point where I say, okay, I've been dorking around long enough. These guys, they won because they deserved to win. They killed all of our bots, and we didn't kill enough of theirs, and that's why. So, really odd-looking bots. This one is what we call an exception to the rule. Now, one of the things you'll notice if you watch enough of my content and listen to enough of my ideas on strategy is that there's no such thing as a defensive role. If you're leaving people back to defend a location, realistically speaking, you're just weakening your offense. So if the enemy decides to go full offense, like most people will do, they're going to have an advantage in numbers pushing through your guys until they get to you in a defensive position, and then guess what? You're next. That's all it is. It's, you know, they're the predators, and you've just become the prey because you sat around and let your guys lose. And that's just the way it goes. So that's my reasoning behind not supporting defensive positions, in addition to the fact that it's very, very boring to sit in one place waiting for something to happen. It's not very fun at all. Like, I would rather lose but have fun in the process than win just twiddling my thumbs for 3 or 4 minutes out of every 5-minute match. That's kind of the way I feel about it. You'll have your own ideas, but you can see here, this is the exception. Look at the mini-map, the southwest corner or the bottom left. all of us, except for that one guy in the north. He's kind of pushing up a little bit. He's spotting targets. That's basically all he's going to be able to do up there. There's a couple of flyers up there. There's some bombers kind of pushing in this side. The thing that is not working for the enemy right now is that they're trickling in. And they're trickling in on multiple different flanks. So they're not ever really able to support one another. They can't really focus fire because they're on opposite ends of what's going on. Even if they could see what their guys on the other side were shooting at, the chances of them actually going out of their way to shoot over the rest of us to the ones that they're shooting at, it's not very good. This isn't a case of them flanking us. This is a case of them trickling in to our entire team who's shooting back at them. And we all kind of focus on one flank, and then once that flank is clear, we turn around. We've got medics to undo the damage that the guys on the other flanks did as they were trickling in. And it's just basically back and forth this whole match, making them very, very sad that they chose to trickle in the way that they did. Really the only other way that they could have handled this, assuming that our team did everything the way they did, which is to say sit around and do nothing until the enemy got to us, is if they all came in one death ball and then we just basically blasted the crap out of each other until only one team was left standing. That's the only way that they could have handled this and had a chance of being successful. Clearly they didn't do that. And now this is another case where they've got over half their bots are destroyed. You can see they've got some guys in the middle, and then I start to push up. Can I chase that guy? Should I go to their base? No, we got two guys on the flank. So back we go. I would like to be able to stay up on this plateau and shoot at them, but they keep retreating. So I have the mobile bot. There's only so much time I can spend watching the nameplates in a situation like this before I finally have to get down there and at least try and get into the thick of things before the bots over there are destroyed. The worst thing that you can do is kind of sit there expecting your teammates are going to handle it and then find out that they didn't. And maybe it was just your set of guns that would have meant the difference. So we got one of our medics is just getting a little bit cocky and being in the way. Thanks, Mr. Medic. I could have used those extra CPU, you bastard. It's not that big of a deal. We're just, me and medics, we have this love-hate relationship. So now at this point, the enemy is really kind of down to the very last remnants, and the guy back there defending. What the hell do you think is going to happen at this point? Like, I don't recognize him as he's a medic. I didn't recognize him as someone that was on the front lines. I didn't really see him as someone who's going to do anything useful back here. So at this point, it's just Plasma, Tier 10 Plasma, doing a really awful job, like Tier 10 Plasma does. Yeah, how many times can you hit someone directly with 6 guns, 20,000 plus damage each one, and it just, never mind. Try not to go there. So that was the exception, where we worked as a group. We stayed in one location. We just handled the enemy because they kept trickling in. It was 2 things happening there. We all ended up in the same location. Doesn't matter how we ended up there. It could have been very, very boring if the enemy had done the exact same thing. And the enemy wasn't coordinated, wasn't working as a group, and it cost them. So now you can see here how I'm kind of trailing in the back a bit. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this match is coming on the tail end of a bunch of losses that were very, very frustrating. I was starting to get a little bit pissed off, and I was wondering why we were having such lopsided losses. And I decided, because this bot can, hang back a little bit and not be grossly out of position when the fighting starts. The one thing that I noticed with these guys, look, you see how we moved up almost as a complete group? That was good. That was excellent. Except all of the bots you look at in that string of bots leading up the hill were very, very small. Very small bots. You can't do it. Unless you want to layer on the electroplates in Tier 10, you can't have the little babby bot that's just barely big enough to hold 5 or 6 guns and expect to survive. You can see the enemy there. There's kind of nestled in the little valley. All kinds of cross healing going on. Very, very effective healing. Our chances of getting through these guys before they cleave a hole through us, slim to none. at this point. I mean, I'm just going to keep ducking in and out of cover, waiting for a reload, trying to keep my guns busy as much as I can, laying down supportive fire, getting as much damage as I can onto the enemy. But our team is just falling apart. And there's nothing we can do about it because we don't have bots that can stand up to the kinds of things the enemy is doing to us. You see, we got the rail gun up on the hill. I swear, I saw the laser up and to the left, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to wait for it to move, and then bam, it hit me. So, kudos to the rail gunner. Very quick, very snappy, or he got a little bit of lag happening there. Now, I noticed, one of the things I've noticed is this area here. If you look down, there's that little hill right in front of me, and then it comes back up again. Guys come in from the right. Enemies come in from the right, up that hill, and they basically, that's the flanking lane. And then they would turn right coming up that hill and go straight up the hill from where I am, where I'm looking. That's where they do the flanking. So it's very, very helpful if you're in the back end in this lane and you happen to know that the enemy is kind of in a pretty good position. Keep a very close eye on this area back here to make sure that your support isn't getting chewed to bits by an SMG gun bed or basically anyone else that's coming in around behind them, because that's what ended up happening to me here. I should have been dead long ago, but this healer he's courageous or stupid, one of the two. I'll give him credit for courageous. But you can see what we're down to at this point. We've got a bomber on the back end making a mess of us. It was just bad. It was a prime example of a really poor showing as a team. Poor bots, not standing up to what was going on and basically just getting chewed. I'm not going to put the blame all on the medics and say that they had better healing. They had very effective healing, but we had plenty of healers too. We just had a lot of really tiny, ineffective bots. This is an example, kind of what happened in the second match, only the opposite. And we can take a look. You can see all the red dots in the upper left corner now. And they're trying to push out from their base. We got a guy up there who did a lot of spotting early on, clearly. Did a good job of that for us. Guy bobbing around in his hover, getting in my way, and getting in my way again. I friendly fired. See? God damn it. Get out of the way! Sober up before you queue for another match, asshole. Anyways, they're trying to push out from their base, but they took too damn long. And now we're all in the middle, and they're splitting up into different lanes. This is sort of like the inverse of what happened in the second match, where we all stayed in one area, and whenever we tried to push out, we would go back to the middle to reinforce whatever flank was being attacked. These guys are all trying to push out, and they're being stubborn about it, being too stubborn. Instead of turning around and seeing where they can go to support their team. Now we've got a guy up at the very top there. He's flanking. We're still strong in the middle. We've got lots of cover on the terrain. And at this point, for me, it's just being patient. There's plenty of red nameplates to shoot at, and as long as I stay low and use the terrain, I can duck in and out of cover like this all day and leave my guys to mop up. The only thing I have to watch out for is the SMGs that flank. We got, looks like an interceptor flying around up there, kind of a pain in the ass. Not my fight. Interceptors, bombers, someone who has the accuracy can handle them. I'm going to worry about throwing down as much damage as I can into the groups. Keep their healers busy. Make sure their healers get a nice reward at the end of the match. Only in this case, it'll be our healers. You can see again, we're pushing in. We took advantage of them trying to push out in groups of 1 and 2. Thin them out. Now there's not enough left in their base to really mount much of a defense. And it's all basically academic from here on out. We've got 3 in the north lane. We're not going to do anything. If they were going to do something, they would have done it by now, basically, is how that one works. So we're pushing through strong. We're coming up on their base. They're kind of, we pushed them out of their base. Now they're kind of circling around in behind, but there's not enough of them to really do anything. And we'll let you watch the end of it. So the next episode, probably going to be more match footage. I've got a build or 2 in mind, but I have to refine the details and farm up the RP to buy the stuff. So all of this, match footage, build videos, and also we'll do a little bit more in the in-depth strategy from time to time with the exploded minimap. We'll get some squiggles and some doodles going on. If you want to be notified when I add those videos, easiest way is to subscribe to my channel and or follow me on the social media. Links for the social media in the information section below the video. Please leave your comments and feedback. Let me know if the oversized minimap was helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.